Welcome. Let me just ask you a couple of questions. Do you ever feel like a dragon inside or like you're losing your mind? Um, well, let me tell you, hormonal imbalances really can cause a range of physical and emotional symptoms. But with some of the tips and techniques and tools, you can really achieve some hormonal balance and harmony. Okay. You can start feeling like yourself again, even with all the business that we have going on. So, today we're going to talk a little bit about a system that very few of us talk about a lot, even know a little bit about. Okay. The endocrine system. But this little system affects every aspect of your wellness, especially if you're concerned about having more energy, being more focused, and being more balanced. So, let's get started today. This is Dr. Nozella here, your favorite wellness educator and coach. And I really am so glad you're here with me today. I'm a doctor of education. I'm super, super passionate about empowering others to achieve the quality of life that they desire. And I love doing the research for you, the study, and helping you to understand the kinds of things that sometimes can be a little complicated, but it's really important that you know about these things. So my over 20 years of teaching others to achieve their best life stems from my years of study and my years of experience. And like most people, I have struggled to live this balanced life. I've been across the board when it comes to emotions and feelings and just my overall wellness. And I haven't always known what's been going on with me, even wondered sometimes if I was crazy. But what we know today, a lot of things about our health wasn't even available earlier when I was having a lot of my issues. Doctors would often dismiss many of the things that I was asking about and I was concerned about. They would tell me it was in my head. They wanted me to just take some medication or to do a treatment or even have a surgery without even answering a lot of my questions or helping me to understand the root causes of what might be going on with my health. So I just want you to understand, and I want to reassure you today that it's okay to be very intentional about your health. It's okay to be protective. It's okay to be proactive. And it's okay for you to prioritize your health. Listen to your body and seek the answers that you want to know. You deserve to do that, okay? First, before we start today, though, I do want to let you know and remind you that this is not intended to replace the advice of your healthcare provider. It's not intended to diagnose, to treat, prevent, or cure any disease. As I said, I'm an educator and just committed to helping you have access to all the resources that are available to help you make the best decisions for your health. My passion is to empower people to take charge of your health and to live according to God's design for you. And I get really excited about the things that I have learned, especially through the company Young Living and all the study that they have taught me. And I just love sharing that with others, okay? But I'm not a therapist, and I encourage you to get professional help if you really find that your emotional state can be dangerous to yourself or maybe to others, okay? And when we talk about your health, I really encourage you, find a healthcare provider that aligns with your goals for your health and that'll work with you so that you can enjoy the optimal, vibrant health that you deserve. So let's get started. What is this system that affects so many aspects of our well-being? This endocrine system, okay? To be honest, it really wasn't something I remember studying very much about in school, just like in biology and stuff. But the endocrine system is a complex network of glands that work together to regulate, control various body functions, okay? It consists of several glands that you've probably heard about. It includes your pituitary gland, your thyroid gland, your adrenals, your pancreas, and your ovaries in females, and the testes in the males. Don't get worried. I'm not going to try to bore you with a whole lot of science and all that stuff, but it is really important to understand that the endocrine glands produce and release hormones directly into your bloodstream. And those hormones are the chemical messengers that travel through the body, targeting specific cells, tissues, and organs. And the hormones play a real crucial role in regulating and coordinating various bodily processes, ensuring that they function harmoniously and that we maintain homeostasis, which is the body's internal balance. And that is just so, so important. So, what does the endocrine system do? Okay. And why is it so important and significant, okay, for your energy levels, for your balance, for your focus? Okay, here's just a little bit, and I'll give you a little research to kind of back it up. Number one, the endocrine system, particularly the adrenal glands, they play a very crucial role in regulating your energy production, okay? So by supporting your adrenal glands, you're really going to ensure that you have healthy cortisol cell levels, and you'll really experience improved energy levels and better resilience to stress when it's working right. The research has shown that individuals with adrenal insufficiency, they tend to experience chronic fatigue and low energy levels because of this impaired adrenal function. So it's so important to support this. Your balance and your mood is affected. Hormonal imbalances in this endocrine system contribute to the mood swings, to irritability, to emotional disturbances. So again, by supporting this hormonal balance, you're going to really feel a little better, feel more stable. They have one research study found a correlation between your hormone fluctuations during a woman's menstrual cycle and the mood disturbances that women may feel. So just by working at really balancing and supporting the system, there may not be so much fluctuation during this time. Also, the endocrine system really helps with your focus and your cognitive function. And including that thyroid gland that we talked about, that really influences your cognitive function, your memory, and the way that you're able to concentrate. So again, if you support this endocrine system, you're going to find that you can focus a lot better. One study found that when there was a slightly reduced thyroid function, it was really associated with the cognitive performance being impaired. And so just supporting that thyroid system was very, very, very helpful. And all of that fits in to the endocrine system. So why is this important? I mentioned this before. Homeostasis. Homeostasis is the body's natural ability to maintain that internal stability and balance, regardless of what's happening externally, okay? It plays such a crucial role in ensuring your optimal functioning of various bodily systems, including the endocrine system. And supporting this endocrine system is essential if you're going to maintain your homeostasis, okay? The endocrine system, through its production and regulation of the hormones that we talked about, contributes significantly to homeostasis, okay? Remember, the hormones are those chemical messengers that are communicating with different organs and tissues to regulate the important processes such as your metabolism, your growth and development, your immune function, your reproduction function. And so it really is important that the body system is working in balance, okay? And when the endocrine system is not functioning properly, hormone imbalance can occur. That will disrupt the homeostasis. For example, if you have an overproduction or underproduction of certain hormones, that can lead to some very serious health issues such as thyroid disorder, reproductive imbalances, weight fluctuations, mood swings, energy disturbances. All of these are negatively impacted by homeostasis. So it's really, really important. And if you're actively supporting this endocrine system, you can maintain this really delicate balance of hormone production and regulation, okay? And again, we'll talk about some ways that you can do that, because when the endocrine system is well supported, hormone levels will remain balanced, and that contributes to a stable body temperature, your optimal metabolism, steady energy levels, mental clarity, emotional well-being, and efficient immune responses, okay? And that allows your body to adapt to changes, whether they're internal or external, and it allows you to maintain an equilibrium that's really necessary for optimal health and functioning. So let's talk a little bit about what causes this disharmony, because that is key. And really, it's some simple things that you can begin to make sure that you are working on so you can protect your endocrine system. The number one thing I have to say is chronic stress, okay? Cannot stress this enough. Excessive and prolonged stress will disrupt the delicate balance of hormones in the endocrine system. And many of us have been taught to just live with this constant stress, okay? But when the body's under stress, the adrenal glands, they release cortisol, and that often is referred to that stress hormone. And chronic stress will lead to an overproduction or underproduction of cortisol, and it results in all kinds of hormone imbalances and other issues with your health. The second thing is a poor diet, a diet that doesn't have the essential nutrients and is really high in processed foods, okay, unhealthy fats, those refined sugars, and they will really contribute to hormone imbalances. Nutrient deficiencies can affect the production and the regulation of your hormones. For example, insufficient intake of vitamins and minerals like vitamin D or magnesium and zinc can actually impair your thyroid function and disrupt your hormone balance, okay? So another one is just a sedentary lifestyle. Our bodies were made to move, okay? So lack of physical activity and a sedentary lifestyle can impact the endocrine system in ways that we don't want that to happen. Regular exercise is so important for maintaining your hormonal balance and for promoting your overall well-being, okay? Physical activity helps to regulate your insulin levels. It enhances your metabolism. It helps reduce stress, and it just promotes optimal hormone production. A fourth thing that is really a disruptor is environmental toxins. We'll talk about this a little bit more, but exposure to environmental toxins such as chemicals found in certain plastics, pesticides, pollutants, heavy metals can really disrupt the endocrine system. These toxins, often known as endocrine disruptors, they can mimic or they can interfere with your natural hormones, and it can lead to all kinds of issues with your health. Another one is sleep disruption, okay? Inadequate or poor quality sleep can really affect your hormonal production and regulation, because during sleep, the body repairs and it rejuvenates itself, including the hormone synthesis and the balances. And so disruptions in sleep patterns can disrupt the production of your growth hormones, the cortisol, and other hormones, contributing to really problems with imbalances. A sixth thing that I have to bring up is medications and medical conditions. Certain medications, such as hormonal contraceptives and steroids and antidepressants, they can all impact your hormonal balance. And additionally, specific medical conditions such as a polycystic ovary syndrome or thyroid disorders or diabetes, those also can cause some imbalances. So it's something to really work with your medical professional about. And then age and menopause, okay, that also, those changes, they're natural part of aging, particularly in women during menopause. But when there's this decline in the estrogen and the progesterone levels, it can lead to hormonal imbalances and various symptoms. Age-related changes in hormone production and regulation actually can affect men and women. But if we're doing certain lifestyle things, it can really help mitigate those imbalances so that it doesn't affect our wellness and cause as many problems as many of us sometimes experience. I do want to take just a moment here to really talk about the environmental disruptors, okay? These are some key things that oftentimes the healthcare providers, they're not really trained to look for. And there's so many numerous environmental toxins that are harming the endocrine system today. We know that people today are being exposed to so many more environmental toxins. Some have said that the environmental toxins that we are exposed to today in one day equals the environmental toxins that our grandparents were exposed to in a lifetime. Okay. And so these are building up in our system, and they really are disrupting our endocrine system and just playing havoc on our health. But let's talk about a few of those. Pesticides. So we know pesticides are chemicals that are commonly used in agriculture, in lawn care, to protect the crops, the pests. They're on our food. Sometimes we work with them in our own yards, but they really do disrupt hormone function, particularly the thyroid and the reproductive systems. Examples of pesticides that can harm the endocrine system include some of the names. I mean, there's parathyroids, there's names I can't even say, but you really want to avoid these if at all possible. And then BPA is a chemical that's used in the production of plastics, and it can be found in a lot of household items. And they're just starting to find these plastics circulating in people's blood and in the brains. But it includes the plastics in water bottles, food containers, canned foods. And they, again, BPA, it mimics the estrogen in the body, and it can disrupt your hormonal function. Again, it can really disrupt the reproductive system. And then phthalates are chemicals that are used in the production of plastics, and they're found in many household items as well, in food containers, cosmetics, personal care products. They really wreak havoc on your hormone system. And things like flame retardants. They're chemicals that are used in furniture, electronics, building materials to kind of reduce the risk of fire, but they're finding that these flame retardants have been shown to really disrupt hormonal function, particularly in your thyroid and in your reproductive systems. Heavy metals, another one, such as lead, mercury, cadmium. Those are toxic substances that can be found in the environment, in food, water, and air. Exposure to heavy metals can really harm the endocrine system. Again, there's POPs. These are toxic chemicals that are found in the environment, in the water, in the food. Some examples you may have heard of are dioxides or PCBs. They are very, very disruptive to the hormonal system. And many toxins are found in your personal care and the cleaners that we're using on a regular basis and we've been using for years. But these personal care products and cleaners really do disrupt the hormonal production. They also mimic hormones, which are a problem, and they accumulate in the body. And that's what we call a toxic overload. So they may not be as harmful at one point in your life, and then all of a sudden your toxic overload is too full, and suddenly you have a health crisis. And they also, all of these disruptors trigger inflammation, because it's like something going in the body that shouldn't be there, and the body's natural response to something that's in the body that shouldn't be there is inflammation and all that. And so it really adds to inflammation in the body, which we know has been a main component for disease. So when you're looking at cleaners and your personal care products, look for things like parabens. These are preservatives. They're used a lot in cosmetics and personal care products, but they're very hormone disruptors. Phthalates, as I mentioned before, are in so many personal care products, many fragrances, nail polishes have them, and triclosan is another one. It's an antibacterial chemical that's used in a lot of soaps and personal care products. It's also an endocrine disruptor. And then the last one I'll talk about, there's so many more, but sodium lauryl sulfate is the foaming agent that's commonly found in shampoos and other personal care products, because they know we like a lot of we just love the bubbles and things like that. So they add that in there, but it is an endocrine disruptor. So look for those things in your personal care products, because those again can disrupt this system and cause all kind of disharmony in your body. And we'll talk about different ways of getting around that. But just imagine that your endocrine system is a conductor of a symphony orchestra that's guiding the harmonious flow of music through your body. And just like a skillful conductor brings together all the different instruments to create this beautiful melody, your endocrine system coordinates the intricate interplay of hormones to maintain balance and vitality. And as a busy person, you're the star performer on life stage, you're juggling multiple responsibilities and you're striving for success. And your endocrine system, like that conductor, plays a vital role in ensuring that your body performs at its best, allowing you to shine brightly in all aspects of your life. Supporting your endocrine system daily is like fine-tuning your instrument to maintain its optimal sound. It's about nourishing your body with healthy nutrition and exercise and stress management techniques. And just as a musician cares for their instrument, you too can nurture your endocrine system to unleash your full potential, to find harmony in your energy levels, your mood, and your overall well-being. Remember that a well-tuned orchestra creates a masterpiece. And by supporting your endocrine system, you can create a life that's in tune, where you can thrive, you can succeed, you can continue to inspire those around you. You'll be living in harmony with yourself and with others. So let's talk about just some ways that you can do that, okay? Because there's some good news to all this. I love to use the acronym WAFFLES, waffles to the rescue, or get your waffles all day, okay? The acronym WAFFLES represents various lifestyle factors that support your endocrine system, and they really promote hormonal balance. And this is a way to kind of fine tune your endocrine system so your life represents the greatest performance ever, okay? So let's talk about these. And as I'm talking, think of simple steps that you could take, okay, that would help fine tune your system. So water is key, okay? It's key that you stay hydrated, and being hydrated with pure filtered water is essential for optimal hormone production and regulation. The water helps to transport the hormones through the body, okay? It supports the function of the endocrine system, and it facilitates your overall cellular function. Keep in mind, you want pure water. You don't want to have things in your water that are endocrine disruptors, okay? Think about how to have half your body weight in water each day, or your 8 to 10 glasses, or if you just need to start with adding one more cup of water a day, do that, start there, but get your water. The second thing is air. Breathing clean air is so important, okay? As the environmental toxins and pollutants can really disrupt the endocrine system, as we've talked about. So you really want to avoid exposure to air pollution. You want to maintain good indoor air quality, because you want to minimize the negative impact on your hormonal balance. That means getting rid of fragrances and candles and things, and using things that will keep that air as pure and clean as it is. Of course, food is the next thing that is so important, because consuming a balanced and nutrition diet is crucial for supporting the endocrine system. A diet that's rich in whole and unprocessed foods provides essential nutrients like your vitamins, your minerals, your antioxidants, your healthy fats. And it's so necessary for hormone synthesis and for regulation. So just focus on trying to incorporate a variety of fruits and vegetables, lean proteins, whole grains, healthy fats. Closer it is to the way God designed it, the healthier it's going to be for you to eat it, okay? And then your fitness, your movement, regular physical activity and exercise play such a significant role in maintaining your hormonal balance. Exercise, as I mentioned earlier, helps to regulate your insulin levels. It enhances your metabolism. It reduces stress. It supports your overall well-being. So engage in a combination of aerobic exercise, strength training, flexibility, that are all going to contribute to your hormonal health. Enjoy yourself. Do those things you enjoy. And then love is so important. We think about cultivating your emotional well-being and your positive relationships. It's so vital to your hormonal balance. Stress management fits here, your self-care practices, and fostering a real healthy connections with loved ones. All of that really does promote emotional stability. It reduces the negative impact of stress on that endocrine system. So look for ways to love yourself and to love others, even if that means setting up some boundaries there. And then I can't leave out essential oils, because certain oils are believed to have properties that can really support the endocrine system. There's several research studies on it. More is being done every day. We've seen studies on clary sage, on lavender and frankincense, myrtle, myrrh. Those are all studies that have been done. They show the potential of calming and balancing the system. Myrtle is known to support the thyroid, okay, and to boost the thyroid function. And what you can do is think about how you can ditch endocrine disrupting personal care and cleaning products that may have fragrances and endocrine disruptors in it, and switch to the clean hormone supporting products such as essential oils and oil infused personal care and laundry products is an excellent way to move towards having that hormonal balance. And then sleep is so important. Prioritize quality sleep. It's so essential for your emotional regulation and overall well-being. As I've mentioned before, during your sleep, the body repairs and it rejuvenates itself. And it includes the hormone synthesis and the balance. And try to be consistent. Try to aim at a restful sleep. Try to establish a relaxing bedtime routine for yourself, where you're creating comfortable sleep environment, and you can begin to practice a good sleep habit. And give yourself some time, permission to take the time to work through what's going to be the best sleep routine for yourself as you work through any of these. Because adopting the waffles approach can really help you kind of create a holistic lifestyle that supports that endocrine system and promotes your hormonal balance. And really, by paying attention to these areas, your water, your air, your food, your fitness, your love, essential oils, and your sleep, you're going to optimize your overall health and your well-being. And your endocrine system is just going to love it. I really want to encourage you to take action. Okay. Congratulations on learning about the valuable tips to support your system, but I want you to take some action. I want you to begin your journey towards this hormonal balance. So think about it. Let's go through what's just one step that you can take today. Okay. And you might want to put it in the chat or post it. Choose one of these areas. Maybe it's water. Maybe you want to commit to drinking an extra glass of water. I will tell you, you can always incorporate like adding a drop of lemon essential oil in there. Or maybe it's your air. You want to do some things to improve your air, and you may want to start diffusing essential oils and replace some candles or other toxic fragrances that you have it. Your food, start incorporating some nutrient-dense foods into your diet. How about your fitness? Okay, maybe you could schedule 5, 10 minutes, 20 minutes of exercise a day, scatter it out. Remember, we're learning now that you don't have to get it all at one time. In fact, it's better to scatter, to do 3 10-minute segments of exercise than to try to get it all in at one time. And then look at how you're prioritizing your self-care, okay? Things that you're doing that bring you joy. Give yourself permission to do that, because it really reduces your stress. And then look for ways to incorporate essential oils. We're going to talk about that just a little bit more. And then, as I've talked before, are there some things that you can do to establish a bedtime routine that promotes for you a restful sleep? Select one area that you want to do that. And before we go on, I do want to just remind you, especially when we're talking about essential oils, they're becoming so popular today, people can find them all over the place, okay? And when I was first introduced to essential oils, I think it was in 2010, there wasn't a lot of them around, okay? The ones I had been using, I was using for since, and I thought they were all the same, okay? And I didn't realize that there was a difference in the quality. And so I was only looking at the cost, and I was kind of surprised, like, oh my goodness. But what I didn't realize, because I was a city girl, okay, I didn't understand how essential oils really were extracted from plants when they were real and they weren't made in the lab. Okay. And so I had to learn that they were concentrates. I had to learn that they were used to keep the plant healthy and that they could do the same thing for us. I had to learn that they've been used in aromatherapy and home cleaning and personal care, and that really the pure essential oils can help oxygenate the body and really support overall health. All those things I had to learn. And I also had to learn that many of the oils had been adulterated and synthetic. And it was really important that I use oils that were pure, straight from the plant. And so that's how I ended up getting into Young Living. It just became very difficult for me to trust some of the oils that were out there, and some of the things I was doing, I was hurting myself more when I was using them. So I really appreciated Young Living when I learned about their seed to seal quality commitment, because it meant that they had control of the entire process of how their oils were developed. I mean, they made sure that the plant material that was grown on their own farms, and if any other farms were used, they vetted those farms. They had very strict standards. They used sustainable farming and sourcing practices. They've been doing that for over 20 years. And now we see why it's so important. They take so much care to preserve and protect the natural resources as they're doing their farming processes. And what I really like is they don't use any pesticides. I mean, they hand weed everything. And that allows the oils to retain the natural constituents and their therapeutic properties. They use really food grade distillers, so you're not getting part of the distillers into the oils. They use a low pressure, low temperature distillation process. So rather than trying to see how quickly they can get as much oils as they could for profit, they try to see how high in constituents and therapeutic value those oils can be by working with processes that are really slow temperature. And they use a real rigorous testing, which is really important to me. Every batch, they have their own internal labs and they use third-party labs. Any point, if it doesn't meet their standards, hey, they don't use it. Some other company buys it, and I really respect that. So I have found them to be very, very safe for me to use in a variety of ways. So just quickly remember, when you have a very good high quality oil, you can use it topically, okay? And you can just put it right on where you want to use it. I like that because you can use it aromatically. You can just put a drop or two on your hand and just breathe in. That is so amazing when you're talking about calming the mood and bringing harmony, and some of the oils that we talked about, how they help to balance the emotions. And then Young Living has some food grade oils that can be used internally. It is so important. If you're using oils, you read the label, you know that they can be used internally, that they're safe. But Young Living's oils are labeled as such. They have been approved by the FDA and they're on the GRAS list, so they can be taken internally. And so I really like that. And so I find that you can use these oils to really boost the endocrine system in some really special ways. Like, as I mentioned before, with your water, you can just add a drop of like lemon or one of the another citrus oil like lime or grapefruit, just a drop. Not only does that help with the taste, but it has cleansing properties and it really promotes detoxification. You can always, when you're trying to purify your air, you can diffuse essential oils, things like the eucalyptus, which is amazing in our RC or our Raven, are wonderful for helping to purify the air. So is tea tree or lavender. They not only clean the air, but they also kind of have created an uplifting environment. And then you can definitely use the essential oils when we're talking about incorporating them into your food, okay? And remember, we have some oils that can be cooked with. Of course, when I think about nutrition and the food aspect, I have to think about the Ningxia Red pureed drink that is such a powerhouse of nutrition, and the Ningxia greens. And so I use that because I know I am getting an abundance of antioxidants every day into my system. when talking about your fitness and you want to improve that, just adding a couple of drops of peppermint or eucalyptus. The eucalyptus can help with your breathing when you're doing fitness. The peppermint can be rubbed on joints and helps with that. And it also helps with your focus and your energy and actually motivation when you're talking about getting up and moving a little bit. If you're working on your love for yourself and your emotions and your relationships, we have to talk about the benefits of things like lavender and lang lang and bergamot, because they really create a relaxing, calming atmosphere that really helps with your self-care routines. I love the stress away, or for just helping to de-stress and calm that system and allow the cortisol levels to lower. There's so many other essential oils of frankincense. I think I mentioned myrrh before, lavender. They are used in a lot of different ways to balance out overall wellness. And there's so many different ways that you can use them. And then, of course, using the oils to help with your sleep routine. My favorite had been Peace and Calming. When I had insomnia, I would place the Peace and Calming on the bottom of my feet and do some deep breathing to help me to learn to sleep and to rest. And so there's just so many wonderful ways that you can incorporate the essential oils to help boost your endocrine system, which I think is just amazing. And I know a lot of times for people, the cost can be a barrier. When people are wanting to improve their health, insurance doesn't cover preventive health. Insurance is really designed for sick care. However, if you want to start your journey and become more proactive, I've got this excellent starter bundle. It has like 12 essential oils in it that support your overall wellness. It will help you jumpstart with your goals to support your endocrine system, while at the same time, you're going to be supporting your overall wellness and allow you to balance your health. It also has a little of the Nixia Red in it for your nutrition and some other goodies in there. And what's amazing is this is less than 50% off. So whereas all this stuff, if you were to buy it individually, including the diffuser, would be over $400, you can get it for like $165. It's amazing how wonderful you will have just this kit that will support every system of your body. Plus, I really do want to offer you a personalized assessment and consult free if you have not done that with me. The assessment helps us discover kind of the oils, the supplements that your body can best use, but it also helps us to design a wellness program that fits into your current lifestyle. And all you need to do is just contact me at naturallynozella.com, get a little details on that. I do want to thank you so much for being with me today. If you're interested in any of the products that we talked about, scan the QR code that's right there. Do take a moment and think through the one small step that you're going to take towards balancing your emotions, okay? Whether that's improving your water, your air, your food, your fitness, your love, your essential oils, your sleep. Okay, I want you to get your waffles. Okay. So let me know in the chat or the post the one thing that you're going to do. And I would love for you to have just a wonderful week. I look forward to seeing you at our next lesson. This is just a touch on the endocrine system and the hormones and how you can bring them into harmony. So take care of yourself. Have a wonderful week. I love you all. Bye.